Mike, it's playoff time, my friend. It's all about the playoffs, the PPL podcast, the final podcast before the semis and finals. Try to hold back your excitement, okay? Try to hold back.
That's not going to be easy. Davis, listen, it's been a while since it was just you and I on this podcast.
Just the two of us.
Bill Withers. Listen, what I want to do is remind you that I have conducted well over 1,250 interviews. And even though you're the host of this show, I'm going to be asking you a ton of questions in this episode 13.
1250, huh? I'm at, I think, 13.
13. Okay, you're catching up to me. I'm getting nervous. Davis, I don't know how big an NFL fan you are, but do you know what the 1972 Miami Dolphins are famous for?
Not playing paddle. I know that part for sure.
Well, you don't know that. They might have
I
played.
think I mean I'm not a big actually NFL is probably my least favorite sport to watch and enjoy. I know that a lot of men like to sit on the couch on a Sunday and waste their day.
Humans, not just
Y-
men, like human
No,
beings do
really,
that.
humans do it too. I've never heard of other humans other than men, but okay. Um, I think they had was that the perfect record that then they
Yes.
lost? Yeah,
So they had an undefeated season. They
yeah,
ran the gamut in the regular season, and then they won
yeah.
all the playoff games. They won the Super Bowl. It's the only time in NFL history a team has run the gamut. And I was following very closely the last weekend of the regular season in the PPL, the Pro
Yeah.
Padel League. I thought you had a chance to have a perfect season. You guys, when I say you, I don't mean you, Davis Jamieson. I mean the Miami Padel Club. Can we just start by, let me ask you,
A little recap.
your first loss of the season. You're now,
Mm.
well, the regular season's over. You finished atop the table at a 5-1 record, but that one just happened. Just tell me a little bit about how the heck the
Did we
Miami Padel
lose?
Club lost. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a pretty easy answer. First of all, we're actually pretty proud of the team and the way that they played because we were missing Marta Marrero and Ruben Rivera, our two superstars. Now, our team are not too shabby without them. We did win the women's and we took them to the mix. So we were actually pretty proud of how the team came together without their two superstars. Marta Marrero was on the bench coaching, in fact. So that was exciting. Now, we
Wow.
wanted a perfect record, but at the same time, um, there the feeling of that match, and we knew going into the Arkansas match that we were missing our two stars. We wanted to be 5-0 leading into that match, and we accomplished that goal. We wanted our players to do well and win against Arkansas on the weekend, but we knew it would be tough against a desperate Arkansas team, right? They needed to win to solidify a playoff spot.
I was wondering if there was like any chance that the Miami Padel Club was not, you don't let the Arkansas Matrix win, but maybe strategically you're okay with the fact that you still finished first in the regular season, but maybe there was some, I don't know, some gamemanship going on there. What say you?
Yeah, no, I think that from a player's perspective, there was no talk about if we win this, if we lose that. It was strictly go out and just perform. In the back of our heads, there was a couple of things going on there. I think that there was if we won that match along with another one, someone else losing, we could guarantee not playing Vegas in the semis, which was a goal. We wanted to try to make it so that if we had to play Vegas, it was it was a final. So beating Arkansas along with I forget the other team's win made sure that Vegas, but they won their match against the LA beat, so that solidified. What are they? Third, second, or yeah, third. Arkansas ended up finishing first because they beat us.
Well, Vegas
Sorry, second, second.
second, yeah. Arkansas finished second, but there's three teams at 4-2.
Yeah,
Arkansas, Cancun, and Las Vegas all
yeah.
finished four and
No,
two.
Vegas finished out, right? Vegas. Sorry, Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. You're talking about LA. Yeah, LA, Toronto, and San Diego fell out of the playoffs. You're right.
Okay, so let's walk through this here. So
Yeah,
Miami Padel Club, first loss of the season.
yeah,
Arkansas Matrix defeated you. You just described that tight three set match there.
yeah.
There goes the perfect season, but that other monster mash, monster mash. Is it Halloween? Okay, the other
Monster
monster.
Mash.
Yeah, it was.
Name the artist.
What the heck was that guy's name? Oh my
Not
god.
Bill. Was it Bill Withers?
No.
Oh shoot.
I think it was Hall and Oates, right?
All the notes did Monster Mash. Come on.
I'm gonna say Bobby something. Bobby is darn it. I'm gonna have
I
to
have no guess, and I'm usually pretty good with this, but I don't know that.
Bobby Higgins or something like that.
Okay.
I'll
Well, we're
Google
gonna
it
have
while you're
our
talking.
people in the back room figure that out for
All
us.
right. But the other monster match,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cancun Waves
Yeah.
versus San Diego Stingrays. That was essentially to determine like which of those two teams would be on the outside looking in.
Over
Tell me
two
about that
days.
match.
That was the match of the weekend. Vegas. I mean, Vegas beating LA. I think was. I mean, I thought that would happen. LA have a great team, but we thought that Vegas was going to win that match. Cancun Stingrays. I had no clue. They're so evenly matched. Cancun had their star Torre playing. He was incredible. Stingrays have a bunch of solid players. That went to the mixed, and I think it came down to Torre being just a little bit better than everybody else and showed what he could do. So I mean, Cancun, that's a great win, right? I mean, that's an incredible win for them. San Diego was so good. We went to the mix with San Diego. That's how good a team is that came out of the play that's not in the playoffs.
Wow.
We barely beat them.
By the way, it was I know I predicted. I guessed it was Bobby Higgins. I don't know what I was thinking. It's of course Bobby Pickett. Who
Bobby Pickett,
yeah.
the
So I
monster
was kind of
mash.
like I knew it was a Bobby, like I get partial points
No, no,
for
you
that.
get. If you just said Bobby, I would have given it to you, but you
Right.
went full. Yeah, you went the full name.
Like
That's on you.
Cher and Madonna, these are artists that only need
He's
one name, like
just
Aretha.
Bobby.
Bobby.
It's just Bobby. So yeah, that's how things panned out last week. I mean, and even then, once the matches were done, it wasn't like, okay, we know the order, it's done. We know they had to figure out because they have three teams, 4 and 2.
Right.
Where's the pecking order? And so it comes down to you first look at head to head. You couldn't really do that because you have three teams, 4 and 2. They all beat each other. So then you're going at a win percentage, so a set win percentage. So
Ooh.
it comes down to what teams won the most amount of matches without losing the most amount of matches. So if a team like Cancun went to mixed all the time, they were going to finish below Vegas and Arkansas, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so to recap, we have completed the very first regular season in PPL history. And there are three teams that will be watching from the sidelines this coming weekend, which is like championship weekend. This is a big deal. But the three teams that are not going to participate in the inaugural
Yeah,
playoffs are, we talked earlier, but it's San Diego, Los
yeah.
Angeles, and Toronto. And because I like nicknames, I need to say the Stingrays, the Beat, and the Polar Bears. Those three teams not participating in the playoffs.
No, they and one's not a shocker. We talked with Toronto last week. We talked with the Polar Bears last week. That was not a shocker based on the strategy. LA and San Diego, I mean, I kind of had them both in the playoffs at the beginning of the season, based on the rosters. They both have strong American players, so they drafted high. Like the teams that drafted high, both men and women, I thought that there'd be a bit of an advantage, especially if they went out and got internationals, with both those teams did. But it just goes to show you how competitive the regular season was. And teams like Vegas, Arkansas, and Cancun, they essentially won more mixed matches than those teams, right? It came down to that final match. But those are two incredible teams that didn't make the playoffs, which makes it so that, I mean, clearly the playoffs are going to be even that much more competitive, right?
And I mean, we're talking here late on a Thursday. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that this podcast is shared with the world, on Friday, so people
Yeah.
can get jazzed about what happens on June 10th, which is Saturday. But we have like just such an exciting Final Four here. I mean, it's your team, so congratulations, Davis, your Miami Padel club. First overall in the regular season. Of course, you're in the playoffs. Cancun Waves. We talked about the Cancun Waves. Arkansas Matrix and Las Vegas Smash. You're all taking center stage on June
Yeah.
10th, and you're competing for a coveted spot in the grand finals. How you feeling about your match against the Cancun Waves at 10 a.m. sharp?
Yeah. I'm very excited. The team's very excited. Ownership is very excited. We all leave bright and early tomorrow morning on an airplane to get to Tampa. So we'll be there by the afternoon. We will be there with the players. We'll get everyone prepped and ready. Rosters are set. Players are aware. Everyone's excited. It's going to be, I mean, I don't know what to expect, right? Like weekend number one exceeded my expectations as far as what this league's going to be about. I hope that I have the same feeling in this final, but it's going to be a different feeling. There's more nerves this time around than there was going into weekend number one. It was weekend number one was like, okay, if something goes wrong, we got 3 or 4 weeks to put the train back on the tracks. Whereas this is like you lose, you're out.
But Marta Marrero is a special player.
And she's not bad. She's not a bad paddle player. No, we have a special team. We knew we had a special team. It's even more special than we initially thought based on how everyone's gelling together, how partnerships are, how they're spending a lot of time together. Um, and the overall vibe amongst the team is that we want to be successful for each other, right? So everyone has each other's back, and it's just a great atmosphere. Like winning creates a good atmosphere, so people aren't in a bad mood. But we lost last weekend, and I would say that the mood after was almost the same. It's an excitement for getting to June 10th. So we're looking. I think that we're prepared. We know who we're playing. We know what team we're kind of playing. We played them the second day of weekend number one. We didn't have to go to the mix with them, so our men beat their men and our women beat their women. This is going to be a different story. Everyone's a little bit better. Everyone knows each other, but I feel like we're really well prepared, as I'm sure they're really well prepared. They know what to expect from Marta and Ruben for sure.
Who frightens you the most on the Cancun Waves?
So Jorge for sure is the I would say he scares me the most in the league. Never mind just Cancun. Um, Bit of not controversy, but there's sort of an unknown if he's even coming or not. So maybe by the time we're listening to this, people are listening to this podcast on Friday, he's yes 100% or he's not. But we can confirm that he's currently in Spain playing in a tournament. So I don't know how private jets work and stuff for Cancun, but I think it'd be hard pressed for him to play tomorrow in his match and then get here for Saturday. But stranger things have happened. We're prepared to play him or not play him. So
Wow.
how we stack up, I think he's the scariest on the team. If he's not playing, they have a guy named Paco who's really good, who we played weekend number one. Both of their women are pretty solid, but I don't know how they will stack up against Marta and Paloma. I think that they're a tough team, especially with Marta in command there. So I anticipate good things for the women, but the men, uh, Jose and Ruben, just like every match, it's going to be a battle. They haven't had any. There's not been any walkovers for the men. Every match for if in every match, not just Miami, but every team has had difficult men's matches that have gone a lot of times 3 sets.
Wow. Wow. See, that's a tough semi you got there. And let before we talk about the other semifinal between the Arkansas Matrix and the Las Vegas Smash, I should remind everybody listening that these games are all streamed live on YouTube. So I actually want to share it because just to be very specific, youtube.com/Pro League /streams. Like literally you can watch the action. I've been watching the action every weekend. I know you've been courtside, Davis, but I've been
Mhm.
watching on YouTube. And an exciting announcement that I was reading about regarding network television that we'll
Mhm.
talk about a little bit
Yeah,
later, but
please. Yeah.
we'll definitely shine some light on that. But I want to get your take on Arkansas Matrix versus Las Vegas
Yeah.
Smash. Who's going to win that match?
I, I that's also so Arkansas has only had their top man or one of their top men weekend number one,
Who's
Peter
that?
Alonso, Peter Alonso. And he then had commitments for the rest of the season, regular season, knowing he'd be back for the playoffs. He's he's one of the top 5, 6 players for sure, men in the league. They already have Nico and they already have Martinez. So their men are strong. And they're going to push Vegas's men of Guga and I forget, I pronounce his name wrong all the time, but Paloma, not Paloma as in Paloma Cortina, but a different Paloma. He's excellent too. And I would say as a team, that's the thing with the men's teams is that like they're not all the teams have a Ruben, but they have two men that are roughly the same level that are excellent and work well with each other. And Jose's great too. But Ruben is probably the star of the show, but these men are really, really strong. And Jose will have to be at the top of his game to do well. But Vegas and Arkansas, the women will be close as well. I think the Vegas team have a slight edge with the women, and they have a slight edge with the mixed. We played Vegas in the mixed, and that went 10-7 in the Super Breaker in the mixed. So it can't get any closer. So I anticipate Vegas doing. I think Vegas will beat Arkansas narrowly.
Okay, so if your predictions come true and Miami wins and Vegas wins, we have that blood match, if you will. Teams owned by brothers, first time in history that they'd play for a championship. That's like next level intrigue. That's wild.
That is, I mean, it's hard to even think about. I'm trying so hard not to look past. It's a difficult thing to sort of run the PPL podcast here and to not be unbiased or biased. But I just think that each team is going to have a really tough Saturday match. But if all things go the way that I kind of see them going, it could be an epic Sunday at noon, right? Like that's going to be an incredible match, not just because of the Strasser combo is going to be incredible, and that'll be its own little sidebar. But the players, it'd really be the two best teams playing in the final. So that the level of play, if it's
Wow.
anything like the very first time we played them, it's going to be next level.
So exciting, Davis. But we have a big announcement here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The Pro Padel League, the first professional Padel league in North America, has announced that it has signed an agreement with CBS Sports to broadcast the final PPL championship match on CBS Sports Network.
Oh, I had a drum going, but it didn't happen. It's incredible. I mean, this is what they need. This is the only thing that's going to bring some attention to the league. YouTube has been great. YouTube streaming has been great. Instagram, Twitter, all those social media outlets. But this is actually going to be aired in so many US homes that even channel flickers, people going to and from, are going to jump into this and watch it. It's incredible. It's hard to believe it's actually going to happen.
When you had your first meeting, I mean, I don't know if your first meeting was with Ronnie Strasser or if it was with Keith Stein, but when you had your first meetings about the PPL
Yeah.
and you decided you would join the league, did you even imagine for a moment the finals being broadcast on the CBS Sports Network?
I think the very first meeting that I had, so the first time I ever heard about the PPL was definitely Keith Stein. It was actually surrounding the podcast. He had this idea of me helping out with the podcast probably almost a year ago. And then it turned into then the next meeting was with Ronnie Strasser. So at that time with Keith, there was no mention of anything, no broadcasting this or nothing, no teams. It wasn't, but my very first meeting with Ronnie was after he had purchased the team. At that point, there was talk, no signed agreement, but there was talk, and they were in talks with CBS even back then.
Wow.
Right. So even back at the very beginning, when not all the teams were formulated, there were still teams being bought. There was even back then, there was still talk about CBS Sports. So this has been a long time coming. Did I believe it, to answer your question? I don't know. I didn't believe any of this stuff would be going on. I didn't, you had to pinch me a couple different times throughout the process for sure.
Oh, I would do that anyways.
No, you would, but that's because we have a thing.
That's why we have chemistry off the hook.
Yeah, we pinch each other.
All right. So firstly, Keith Stein recognizing a year ago that you would make a great podcast host just tells you what a visionary that man is, because
It's been the only thing, really. That it's the number one thing. He says in every meeting he has
Yeah.
that if it wasn't for Davis agreeing to the PPL podcast, none of this would be possible. And Mike, I just go with it. I try not to.
You're a humble man.
That's me. That's
Yeah.
me.
You should be humble Davis Jamieson. That could be your
Yeah,
nickname.
we should go with that. I'll put that on a t-shirt.
But like in all seriousness, Davis, it's almost dizzying how far the PPL has come in such a short time. I mean, we started this is episode 13. We started this podcast pre-draft. Before that, pre-draft dinner that was hosted by owner of the Miami Pro Padel League, and then where I met his wife, which would be the basis of an episode at some point. But like here we are chatting on the eve of championship weekend.
Yeah.
Like you must feel a great deal of pride here.
Yeah, pride. I mean, there's satisfaction that we've gotten to this point, and it's everybody though. Like everyone was learning on the fly from the Pro Paddle League and how it was being handled on site. To like, I'll give you an example. Weekend number one, how many towels the players have on the bench and lack thereof, and then by day number two, there was more than enough, and then this problem is there umbrellas and shade, air conditioning, all these different things that come up that you couldn't have known about until they happened.
Right.
So you're cleaning all that up as you go along to get to this final. And I think that they did a really good job with having no history. Nobody running these things had run a pro paddle league before or a league before. And so you're learning on the fly. And I thought that everybody, from management to ownership to the people in the Pro Paddle League, all did a good job of pulling it all together to get to this point. Everyone's excited about this weekend. Daddy Yankee, we got a press release that Daddy Yankee will be bringing a large entourage to sit and watch the finals.
Wow.
Miami has another trick up their sleeves that I unfortunately can't announce today in the
Aw.
podcast, but you'll see on hopefully I'll tell you why we can't say anything, because it's an if we win on Saturday type thing. So I don't want to say what we got going on Sunday without winning on Saturday. That would be a jinxing us, right?
So next
But
week when we record, we talk about what went down.
what
Hopefully,
went down? Well, next week
discussing
will be
this.
epic. Next week will be epic because we're going to talk about not only who won, but the ceremonies and like the whole bunch of firsts, right? There's a whole bunch of things that are happening for the first time that all the players are going to experience. I know that only one team wins, but I think that they've included all four teams in the celebration of that and what they're going to do afterwards. So I think Sunday, win, lose, or draw for anybody, it's going to be an exciting moment for all these players because they're the stars and they're the ones that are. If this thing takes off, it's the players. It's not people like me. It's not even ownership. It's going to be the players that are going to make this what it is.
I was thinking about these four cities that remain, and one of these four cities could be winning the Stanley Cup as well.
Yeah.
And another of these four cities, your city, could win the NBA championship. Like Miami might be,
Yeah.
they're I think they're 1-1 with Boston. So just champions, just the fever is already
And
in.
by the way, the part owner for the for Vegas is also part owner of the Smash. So the Golden Knights owner and the Smash owner are the same.
Really?
Yeah. So Henry's not a sole owner of the Las Vegas Smash.
Right.
He is a part owner. So that owner had to choose between whether he was going to watch his Vegas Knights or come to the Pro Paddle League. And according to Henry, it was actually a difficult decision. He's pretty into the Pro Paddle League.
Well, he heard Daddy Yankee was going to be at the PPL championship.
And the podcast guy. He calls the podcast guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be zooming in. I don't know if that's the same thing.
It's good enough for me. But no, it's there's going to be a lot of stars there. I think Tommy Haas is coming back, and it'll be packed. And each team will have sort of a little VIP area to watch their team. The players will be on the bench. I love that format. It's a really cool format, very similar to Davis Cup in tennis, where all the players are sitting beside the other players and you're cheering them on. It's a cool atmosphere. and I
Did
get
you
to be right down there with them, which is really,
Well,
which is
if it's going to be a Davis Cup, you've got to be there. That's your cup, buddy.
it's my cup named after me, even though I was born about 55 years after.
But you talked about the, growing pains, like a brand new
Yeah,
league. You're learning things like how many towels do we need and all these
yeah,
things.
yeah.
What you're basically doing there is you're breaking eggs because this coming weekend you're going to have a delicious omelet.
Oh, whoa. Breaking. That's a good, I like that because all the Spaniards on our team, they're always making fried eggs. So I like that. That's a good way of putting it.
On that
This,
note,
this,
yeah,
no,
go
you
ahead.
go, you
I
go.
was going to say, has there been any complaints or any learning curve with regards to food, right? Because you got to
Yeah,
feed these players.
yeah. So the way it works is throughout the week that they're there, most of these players, by the way, have stayed on site the whole month. So there's condos there that we've put a lot of the players in that have chosen to stay so that they're on site to train, to work out. So Monday to Friday, they're kind of on their own for food. Their condos have a kitchen in them, so they're going grocery shopping, they're taking care of themselves. Saturday and Sunday, the Pro Paddle League organizes food. I'd say weekend number one, it's like anything, there's trial and error. Weekend number one was okay. Weekend number two was better. Weekend number three was good. Last weekend was great.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I mean about stepping up is like they're listening to players and management about what the players need. I think weekend number one, for example, there was no pasta at lunch. And players are like, come on, that we need our carbs, we need
Right.
this and that. So they added that. So they're listening to management to make appropriate changes. And in the evenings, most teams have been taking out their players for team dinners, and we've been doing the same. So we've explored different parts of Tampa and Zephyr Hills, where it is. We've tried different restaurants there, and every time we've gone out as a team, like I said, it adds to the chemistry.
Well,
Like
just
that's
think
a big
about
part of it.
like how good is it all going to be next season? Like this is the inaugural season, Davis. This is growing. We had big announcements of, big, Big Daddy Yankee and all these big stars and everybody wants a franchise and where are these franchises
Yeah,
going to be? This is going to blow up. It's blowing up.
yeah. I mean, it's weird to see like there's people involved in this that I guess back when I was first talked to about it, it's again in one of those moments where I'm like, I had to see it to believe it. Because when like in a lot of other things, like we've had the XFL comes to mind. You've got star power bringing that on and trying to push that forward. The difference is there was a league that already existed in the NFL. So you're competing with an existing league that's successful. The Pro Paddle League is competing with nobody. There's no competition for the Pro Paddle League outside of pro paddle events and tours that come to cities. So Miami hosts a World Paddle Tour event, but it doesn't conflict with a league. It's one tournament, right? So this feels different because with all these star power people coming forward, it shows that they want to be first in line for this because they sense the same thing that all the owners and management sense, which is this will take off. How big will it be? Who knows? But with each day, it gains more and more traction, and there's more and more excitement. Daddy Yankee sends out a tweet or shoots out an Instagram thing, and like 25 million people are responding to him.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned it, but how many homes does CBS Sports Network reach? Like, and
Yeah, I think
everybody.
I have that number. I think it's 240 million homes.
Wow.
I think that's the number that I just read in the press
Yeah.
release. So it'll have CBS Sports has a number of different channels. So y- that link and everything I know will be on the Pro Paddle League once it's known. But 240 homes, if 2 million people, if 500,000 people tune in, to me it's a success.
All right, so a little housekeeping before we say goodbye here and before I wish you good luck. But just to remind everybody, the portal, if you will, to all of this is propadelleague.com. Like everything's in there, schedules, links. So go there.
Results. Yeah.
Also, I highly recommend, and even the link to here is on propadelleague.com, but the
Yeah.
Instagram page is fantastic, and that's Pro Padel League as well.
Yeah.
And you'll see a link on propadelleague.com to the YouTube stream, which is at Pro Padel League, because that's where you can watch these matches live. And just to put a bow on it all, We have our semifinal matches. We have your Miami Padel Club playing Cancun Waves. That's 10 o'clock Saturday. And then the Arkansas Matrix take on the Las Vegas Smash. What time is that match again on
So
Saturday?
that'll follow. So no, I would say no earlier than 2 p.m.
Okay. And what
because it's
time on Sunday, June 11th, 2023 is
yeah,
the championship match?
12 p.m. Eastern time.
And who's guarding the PPL Cup? Like, is somebody responsible for ensuring that it doesn't go missing, to make sure it's shined, it's all ready? Because this will be the first time the PPL Cup.
The entire Tampa Bay police force
Wow.
are surrounding it with gloves on. They're
Wow.
to not no, I don't know. I don't know how
Only
popular
because
of a
there's a guy
steal
who
that would be.
watches the Stanley Cup, right? There's that guy who has the
Yeah.
white gloves and he doesn't leave the Stanley Cup.
Mike, how long has the Stanley Cup been around?
Oh,
Approximately.
I think late 1800s. I think Lord Stanley
Okay.
donated that.
I think it's a bit more popular of a cup than the PPL Cup, but we're going to work towards changing that.
Well,
But
hopefully, for your sake, Vegas doesn't end up with both of them at the same time.
and I heard that whoever wins on Sundays taking that cup home. That'll be an interesting flight.
Okay, make sure we get lots of pictures for the Instagram feed.
Well,
Davis
let's just hope we
Jamieson,
win that. Come
I'm
on.
wishing
Yeah.
you
Come on.
all the luck in the world. We're not, obviously, we're going to pay respect to the commissioner with our final word, but I just want to wish you good luck because you built a great team that went 5-1 in the regular season. My money's on you to take this all the way, buddy. I think you're winning the PPL Cup, and I just want to wish good luck to you.
Thanks very much. I think I'll end off with what a great experience it's been. We won't get to do another podcast until after finals. Win or lose, it's been a really good experience for me. It's been incredible hosting the podcast leading up. It's going to continue the podcast right past through to the finals and into next season. But I just want to congratulate all the teams and the PPL for doing such a wonderful job up to this point. And I know this weekend won't disappoint. And it's at a fever pitch of excitement. So,
Woo!
I'm just excited. I'm excited to get it going. It'll be a tough sleep tonight. I already have problems sleeping, but this will be even harder. And excited about getting it going and seeing the players and getting into that mode, that competitive mode.
Well, there's one word I want to say with you as we conclude episode 13.
What does it rhyme with? Can you rhyme something with it?
Samosa? No.
Samosa. Not nachos.
Nachos. Okay,
No,
you ready,
that doesn't.
Davis? You ready?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
Vamos! We can't do it at the same time? Why can't we work it at the same time?
It's because of Zoom, but we got what we needed. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's because of Zoom.